Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Dr. Tom Howell of the Birdville Baptist Church in Haltom City. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges. Thank you again for coming out this morning.
Glad to. God, I thank you for this day, and I pray we'll find ourselves faithful in serving you in this day. I'll also pray, Father, for wisdom and guidance for each that are here today in decisions and plans they make today and days to come, and for health as they serve you faithfully as they serve the community. And also pray, Father, for confidence when they stand for what you call them to be and the people they need to be. I pray that your blessings will be on the decisions, the thoughts, the plans, the activity of the day. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thanks again, Dr. Howell, for coming out today.
Thank you, sir.
Agenda announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have three announcements for the Court this morning. The first one is under the Administrator's section, item 8A7. This concerns a General Victim Assistance grant in the District Attorney's Office. There's a revised court communication in your packet as relates to that particular item. Also, members of the Court, under Public Health, item 8J8. This is the submittal of the 2012-13 Ryan White Part D grant application. That was also revised. The amount of money that we're asking for is a little bit higher than what was in the original court communication. You also have that in your packet. And then finally, members of the Court, under purchasing, item 8K1. This is a sale of recycled paper. There is a score sheet and a price sheet that has been added to the court communication, and it's in your packet also. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of February the 7th.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Proclamations.
I have one, Your Honor, proclamation Tarrant County Junior Livestock Show. If you would please read that into the record.
You bet. Whereas the Tarrant County Junior Livestock Show was established in 1950 as an opportunity for youth to exhibit and compete with their livestock and home economic projects in a Tarrant County show, and whereas over 100 volunteers continue the tradition with committed service in conducting the show through the Tarrant County Junior Livestock Association Show Board, comprised of members representing the Fort Worth Farm and Ranch Club, Tarrant County FFA chapters, and Tarrant County 4-H clubs. And whereas FFA chapters and 4-H clubs provide youth with educational and extracurricular opportunities to develop life skills, leadership, community service, and an appreciation of agriculture. And whereas in 2012, the Tarrant County Junior Livestock Show will have over 1,100 entries representing livestock and youth fair exhibits combined, and whereas over 60 years, thousands of youth have participated and benefited from this worthwhile educational and achievement activity signifying the completion of their projects. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim February 16th through 18th, 2012 as Tarrant County Junior Livestock Show Days and encourage all residents to participate in the activities at Will Rogers Complex in support of the county's youth. In witness whereof, we have heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 14th day of February 2012.
I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Cindy Bryant, our AgriLife Extension agent, and some youth from the, I believe, 4-H clubs are present to accept this plaque. If you would meet me down at the podium. And I want to say that many in this room have participated in funds for this weekend's activities. And if you look around, those that look a little embarrassed are the ones that didn't. No, seriously, I support the youth, and I do too, and I appreciate what y'all are doing. And I want to present this to you. Congratulations. Okay. And any comments that you'd like to make, please do so.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Katie Leonard. I'm a member of the Texas Wranglers 4-H Club, and I'm pleased to be here with you this morning. One of the most exciting activities that Tarrant County youth participate in is the Tarrant County Junior Livestock Show. Throughout the year, 4-H and FFA youth spend countless hours on their projects developing life skills such as responsibility, determination, and leadership. The lessons learned and experience gained through these livestock and youth fair activities help develop productive citizens and future leaders. My purpose for addressing the court today is to thank you on behalf of Tarrant County families for your continued support of the Tarrant County Junior Livestock Show. Preparation for this year's show is well underway. The show begins this Thursday, February 16th, and continues through Saturday, February 18th. We invite you to join us at TCJLS to observe our projects and enjoy the fun activities that occur throughout the weekend. Again, your support is very appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for being here.
The show is actually, I believe, where they're showing their animals is Friday. But the sale is Saturday afternoon, starting at 1 p.m. at the Swine Barn at Will Rogers, and any and all of you are welcome. You have to pay for parking, but other than that, it's a free show. So come out and watch the kids, and you will certainly appreciate and enjoy what you see. Thank you.
Again, Commissioner Johnson, thank you for all you do in that area. I know that you put together a pretty good buying group that makes sure that all of the kids receive something for the work that they put into it. And
Absolutely. And
nobody
everybody
goes
on
home.
this court participates too, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. I also want to thank everybody for all the cards and letters and thoughts and prayers over the last week for my mom and for my family. It was very much appreciated. So thank you very much for that. You have before you now the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda, including the changes made by the county administrator.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Administrator, okay.
Your Honor, members, we have 5 additional items we'd like to bring to you this morning. The first is a request for an exemption to the county's travel policy as it relates to Constable Jerry Crowder. Constable Crowder would like to attend a civil process seminar, which is going to be held in Galveston. Funds are available in his department for that transportation and other expenses.
I'll move approval with a comment regarding items 1 and 2, which are the same type of approval.
Yes, sir.
The constable in precinct 6 also asked for consideration to go to this conference and was told no because he was in the last year of his term. He is paying for this conference out of his own pocket. I resent this on his behalf.
Do we know who told him no?
That is not true. He was told he would have to submit this letter if he decided not to.
Let us get back with you on that.
That sounds like a no, but.
Okay, well, let us go ahead and we'll contact him and bring that forward for reimbursement also.
I think that would be good, but again, it is a policy, and so they do have to submit they do have to be willing to submit it, and so.
Part of the justification for the policy is to keep the incumbent from being able to spend up the education budget before the new person takes office. Well, we'll have another fiscal year before the new person takes office, so that doesn't even apply in this case.
Well, I do understand that. I think what we need to do, we may need to revisit the policy, but the policy, I mean, and this policy's been in place for a long time. So if you would look at that.
Sure.
And then follow up, and then subsequent to that, if we feel like, as a court, we need to, I think we either need to look at and address the policy.
When the policy was put together, and some of you were here when that happened, there was a tremendous amount of abuse by the elected officials that did a lot of traveling in their last year. So the court had to consider that, and that's why they did that. But we always allowed an out on situations like this, where if they would come to the court, ask permission, then you could grant that permission.
Well, and I agree with what Commissioner Brooks is saying. It's in the budget, so, you know, it's already been, we've already scrubbed it once and looked at it from that standpoint. So I'm not sure we need to adjust the policy, but, you know, folks just need to understand that it is something that we use as kind of a check and balance to make sure that folks don't abuse what might be in place.
Well, we've got a number of elected officials, or since I've been in the court, that come forth in a written request for this exemption.
Yep.
We're requesting approval of both items 1 and 2.
Okay, and that was the motion.
That is
I don't
the
believe there
motion.
was.
I will second, and there's still time, I guess. We have another court meeting next week, so we can still approve this if he gets that in.
I agree. Yeah. I think
From
that's
precinct
right.
6.
And we can, you know, we can approve it. I guess we can approve it afterwards.
Yes, we can.
Well, they don't go until
April 29th.
Okay, yeah, we got plenty
April
of time.
29th.
Okay. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 3.
Members of the Court, a week ago to item number 3, Court's also requested to approve an exception to the county's travel policy for County Court at Law number 1. This is Judge Don Pearson. Judge Pearson attended an advanced trial strategies conference which was held in New Orleans. He failed to get prior Commissioners Court approval. Staff is requesting that the Commissioners Court approve this exemption.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 4-1. Item number 4.
Who didn't vote for it?
Roy?
I didn't.
I wanted to make sure that my light was on. Doesn't appear to be working this morning.
Members of the Court, we can now go to item number 4. We're requesting that the Court approve the electronic submission of a criminal justice program grant application to the Governor's Office as it relates to the District Attorney's Regional Forensic Video Lab.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And finally, members of the Court, this is a request to submit electronic submission to the Texas Department of Transportation as relates to the DWI no refusal activities. You might remember last week we had a fairly extensive briefing on this. Staff is requesting approval.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion in 3 seconds. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Nothing right now? Okay. Mr. Phillips?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
It is requested that Commissioners Court approve an amended agreement with Broadus Associates and KAI Texas for construction project management services related to the jail facilities project, the medical examiner's office expansion project, and the civil courts building project included in the 2006 capital improvement program.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Glenn?
I move to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We have just one additional item. Item number 2, we're asking the court to approve a revision to the table of organization to reclassify our support specialist position in information technology. Currently, there's a vacant support specialist, which is a pay grade 87. This position actually provides support for the tax department. We're requesting that the court approve a reclassification to a senior support specialist, which is 1 pay grade higher, effective tomorrow. Both tax and IT believe that this reclassification will provide them with an individual with the expertise that's needed to handle special projects. You'll notice from your fiscal impact statement, we're anticipating an impact of less than $100 to the general fund.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Brewer?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Public Health has 3 items for your approval this morning. The first is a community services provider contract with JTC Exchange, Inc. This is to provide father mentoring programming in the HEB school system in order to address infant mortality from the father's perspective.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to know a little bit about this company.
It's a community-based organization that's already been doing work in that school system, and they're part of a fathering council that the health department is convening with this grant funding, and so is the next group as well. But my understanding is they're already known to the school system, and they've already been working with the young men.
Thank you.
Do we have this in other school systems, Tarrant County?
The next item is going to be one for the Fort Worth ISD. I don't know if these CBOs are in other school systems. These are the first 2 school systems that we've gone to with this program.
CBO being community-based organization?
Yes, excuse me.
Any other
I'll be glad to try to find out for you, but I don't know that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And then the second one is for the community service provider contract with Odyssey, Inc., and this is for the Fort Worth ISD, the same program.
Same question. Who is Odyssey Inc.?
Again, it's a group of fathers who are already doing mentoring, counseling, education in the school system, is what I've been told.
And I guess maybe the question should be, are we reinventing the wheel everywhere we go? Or is there some umbrella organization? Because I know that there is a big movement and an effort here in Tarrant County to involve the dads in the lives of their children from a CPS standpoint as well as from other areas. So I guess the question becomes, is there any link between Odyssey and JTC or in any of these other organizations that might exist?
From our perspective, they are now part of this council, and we've modeled this after the DADS program that has been designed by the State Attorney General's office. So we're using a lot of their materials that have already been developed. I can't answer the question about Child Protective Services, but I'll be glad to look
Well, and
into
that's
it.
not so much that, is it just if both of these people or both of these organizations are providing similar programs for the school system, then...
But from our perspective, they are coming together in our umbrella advisory group.
Okay.
So they are aware of each other.
That's what you're looking.
Yeah, it's what I'm looking for, but I guess I'm also hopeful that we don't end up creating, we've got 17 or 18 school systems. I hope we don't end up with 17 or 18 independent organizations maybe doing the same thing, but there's always administrative costs and everything anytime there's an organization. And instead of having 17 or 18 times what the administrative costs might be.
I'll be glad to get more information about it.
Thank you.
If in fact there's some benefit in having organizations doing this mentoring training that are community-specific, then I can see having 16, 18 different groups doing it. However, there is an organization in Tarrant County that has been in existence for at least a decade called the Fatherhood Coalition. That is an umbrella group of organizations that do this kind of work. Them I've heard of. I have not heard of either of these with whom we propose to contract this morning.
I will move approval of item 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And if you would follow back up on that.
I will. All right, thank you. The third item is approval of a limited license agreement with the Wisconsin Immunization Registry. This is just for us to be able to review this registry. It was developed back in several years ago with input from the Centers for Disease Control, and it's being used in about 20 states now. Our immunization registry has been a premier registry, but it has not been updated for 8 years, 10 years. And we're looking to do that, but we'd like to look at this system since it's getting a lot of recognition nationwide to see if that's something we might be interested in pursuing, rather than, as you said earlier, reinventing the wheel and trying to create a new system for ourselves.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. Mr. Beecham.
Your Honor, other members of the court, we have 2 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid number 2012-060, the sale of recycled paper. Recommendation would be toward the high bidder, Waste Management, at the rate of $285 per ton.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second and last item is a bid award recommendation for RFP number 2012-034. This is an RFP for professional investigative services of applicants for licensed as bondsmen in Tarrant County. Recommendation be toward to Bearden Investigative Services, the amount of $23,360. If this is approved, we're seeking contract approval from the court.
The bail bond board went through the bidding process with purchasing on this, and it's their recommendation. And I believe the auditors. Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Green.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve the order vacating, abandoning, and closing a portion of Windy Lane from Wagon Trail to Dayton Road in Precinct 1. This particular section of road was never constructed. It's earthen without any pavement at this time. And then the deed also had a reverter clause, and if it wasn't ever used for public purpose, it reverted back to the previous owners. And the owners have requested that we abandon it just to give a clearer title to them.
We have no plans ever to construct a road in that right-of-way. So I move approval of abandonment of
I'll second.
the park.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fickus, I believe you have an interlocal agreement.
I do. Interlocal agreement with the city of Bedford for purchasing of asphalt. I'm through approval for 801A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Appointments? Being none, then we'll move forward with the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Your Honor, we do not have any items to bring before the court at this time.
We'll recess.
Before we recess, I'd like to recognize the mayor of Burleson, Mr. Ken Cheddar.
Ken, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you, Ken.
Morning. At this time, we will recess our open meeting and proceed to closed session to discuss items exempted under Sections 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Closed session will now address the following matters.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're requesting authorization in item E1 under the District Attorney's Office, authorization to file suit against Albin D. Tarty, Jr.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Second item, we're requesting authorization to settle this case on to have the county receive as settlement $3,290.38, and we're requesting authorization for the county judge to be authorized to sign the release of property damage claims.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. There being no further business, we stand adjourned.